Well, probably one of the greater challenges in reading today's newspaper is the retention of the judges themselves. We've got Mr. Joe Guillory exiting the magistrate court system, which will upset the caseload substantially, I'm sure. January 1 of 2011, I hope to be the judge for Magistrate Division 6. But if Mr. Guillory hasn't been replaced, then we're pretty much in the exact same predicament, and possibly even set back a little further, because whether it's Mr. Storment or myself going in, we'll need judicial training, and we'll need to become saturated with the workings of the magistrate court. And so it's not like we're just can go to work on day one and already start hearing cases. So I think that the citizens of Doña Ana County may be delayed a little bit in in accessing the court and having the cases heard.
The vacancy is going to cause some problems, and then how it's filled is certainly going to be a controversial issue probably before it's over. And I feel that the caseload down there and the waiting time that the citizens go through has been one of the key issues, both the city court and the magistrate court. And then the turmoil. One reason that I chose to run was I've been dissatisfied with the way that court ran for several years. Not only Mr. Guillory leaving, but we've had other problems in the past that you folks and all of the citizens are aware of on that court. It's been in kind of turmoil down there for the last 6 or 8 years, and I think it needs a judge that's willing to work full time, and one that's conscientious about the position, and one that actually wants to fill the position. So hopefully we can make some changes. The experience, as it's already been mentioned, we both have to go to training to fill the position, but I feel like the past experience will have a lot of bearing on it. I've worked in the magistrate court more than any other court. I've worked in all 4 of our court settings. I was a city officer and years ago, and you take those cases to a city municipal court. Then I was on the state police, and so we worked almost exclusively with the magistrate court for several years. Then when I went to the sheriff's department, early on, I was a criminal investigator for 9 years, and that requires that you work with the magistrate court. I've worked federal cases in federal court. I've prosecuted my own cases in the magistrate court, and I've been involved then after the magistrate court setting. Many times you end up in the district court. So I had probably 15 years of experience working directly with the magistrate court. You not only prosecute your cases there, but you obtain all your arrest warrants and your search warrants and so forth. And I feel like I have more experience working in the magistrate court system than Mr. Cano does. He traditionally worked in the municipal court setting, and I feel like I have the necessary experience working in the court system to know a lot of the ins and outs of the way the system operates.
I think what the voters should look for with this election is there's several things that they really need to inform themselves with and consider. One is, of course, energy levels. I'm a 53-year-old. I'm nothing but a bundle of energy. I have tons of energy. I've demonstrated that throughout my entire police career, which exceeds 20 years. In terms of experience, I'll get into that in a minute, but as far as dedication to service, I joined the police department and I never left, so I don't hop around from job to job. Once I'm employed somewhere, I usually make a go of it. The other is tenacity. I'm tenacious. I have strong utility. I worked for 4 different police chiefs And none of the chiefs ever hesitated to give me a new assignment or any kind of project. I am proven. When I'm giving you work, when you challenge us, I meet them or exceed them every time. The experience that I've got clearly is up there with Mr. Storment's. Just because I was a municipal officer doesn't mean I didn't testify in magistrate court, because I have. I've testified and prosecuted my own cases many times in the magistrate court as well as the city court. And in terms of experience, I'm very well-rounded. I was a gang sergeant for at least 3 years. I understand youth at risk and gangs and all of that, and that entire subculture. I was in criminal investigations for about 5 years, so I understand all of everything to do with, you know, anything that might come to the court. I understand affidavits and all the proper paperwork. I used to have to fill it out myself as a user of those courts, and to file any of my cases, felony cases especially. Then in terms of traffic offenses which go through the magistrate court, I was a chief of the traffic section for 7 years with Cruces PD. Traffic accident reconstructionist to level 2, taught by Northwestern University. So I understand crashes, I understand DWIs. I was a DWI chief for LCPD for 7 years. So I was in the enforcement and education and prevention side. I've worked with DWI Planning Council, Mesilla Valley Safety Council, just numerous councils. I understand what the clientele will be at the magistrate court based on my experience. And we are short on time. We're limited on time, but everybody can look at my experience and credentials on my website. Because magistrate court work is actually similar to police work. As a policeman, you have to arrive at a scene, or either that or it's self-initiated, you happen to come across it. So now you may have either a victim and you also may have an offender, so it varies. But with a court, it's the same. You may have the victim there and you may have an offender there. So what the officer's job is to listen to both sides, be an active listener, remain neutral above all, and objective. And then if there is any evidence, you must recognize it as evidence. And so if there is evidence, you must consider its weight. You must consider whether or not it's been procured or retained properly using, you know, the channels and the chain of evidence. Now, with testimony, come on, as a police officer, you learn to tell, you learn to read people. In fact, I've been through formal training on interviews and interrogations. I have professional training on that. So I think I have a pretty strong sense of telling the difference between the truth and deceit. So, and then the other one is applying the law. So you listen actively, you weigh any evidence, you apply the law, and I don't have to remember everything or retain it all mentally, because you have a state statute book right in front of you. Right. You merely open the book to the proper statute and see that the elements for the offense alleged have been met, and if not, then you go that way. But in all of my service to the citizens of this county, and to especially, of course, Las Cruces PD, I've always been honest. I'm a straight shooter. I'm upfront with everything. I'm dedicated. I think I'm quite the professional and ethical. Above all, I've always been above board, and I plan to take all those qualities to the magistrate court.
You're in a position of judging people, and you have to be fair and consistent. You have to treat them with respect and dignity. Anybody that comes into that court on a criminal offense, you not only handle criminal offenses, but you handle a lot of civil work. Landlord-tenant disputes, eviction notices, you know, different things of that nature. But on your criminal side, you have to accept the fact that it's the state's obligation to prove the guilt, and you have to look at all the evidence and weigh it according to the statutes, and make a logical, reasonable decision based on the evidence that's presented in the statute. The complaints that I've had out campaigning about the magistrate court is, again, the long waiting lines and the disrespect that some of them feel that they get when they're over there. I've been told by a number of people, we leave there wondering what the justice did, what the judge did, what really happened there. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed. And you know, it's a state court, so you don't have a lot of leeway in some of the things that happen over there as far as your staffing and your budget and that kind of thing. But I've ran a major department 4 years. I served as the county sheriff. I ran the budget. I ran the 160 plus people under the direct supervision of the sheriff. He was held responsible for everything that that happened. So I feel like I have the demeanor and the personality and the common sense to run a position such as the magistrate, and then the experience of dealing with it for all of the years. Like I said before, I've dealt with them for years.